2025 was a year that pushed weather extremes to new levels. From historic wildfires and rare blizzards to deadly floods and one of the strongest hurricanes ever recorded, these events weren't just unusual, they were devastating. Here's a look at the 5 major weather disasters that defined 2025. In January 2025, Southern California experienced one of the most destructive wildfire outbreaks ever recorded. Between January 7th and January 31st, a series of 14 major wildfires burned across the Los Angeles metropolitan area and San Diego County. The impacts were severe. Between 31 and 440 people were killed. More than 200,000 people were evacuated. Over 18,000 homes and structures were destroyed. And more than 57,000 acres burned. These fires were driven by extreme drought, very low humidity, and dry vegetation left over from the previous winter. Hurricane-force Santa Ana winds, reaching up to 100 miles per hour, caused the fires to spread rapidly and made them nearly impossible to contain. This event showed that wildfire season in California is no longer limited to summer or fall, it's now a year-round threat. Just weeks later, a completely different kind of disaster unfolded along the Gulf Coast. From January 20th to January 22nd, a historic winter storm known as Storm Éowyn brought blizzard conditions to areas that almost never see snow. This was the first recorded blizzard along the Gulf Coast, and the most significant winter storm in the region since 1895. Snow totals ranged from 6 to 12 inches, setting all-time snowfall records in Louisiana and Florida. States of emergency were declared across much of the region, thousands of flights were canceled, more than 77,000 people lost power, and 13 deaths were reported. For cities like New Orleans, Houston, and Pensacola, this storm exposed how vulnerable warm climate regions are to rare cold extremes. On July 4, 2025, while many were celebrating Independence Day, a deadly flood struck the Texas Hill Country. Intense rainfall caused the Guadalupe River to rise at an incredible rate, 26 feet in just 45 minutes, and nearly 29 feet in some areas. The flooding was caused by a mesoscale convective vortex, which pulled in large amounts of tropical moisture. 6 flash flood emergencies were issued the same day, including for Kerrville and Mason. At least 135 people were killed, with 117 deaths in Kerr County alone. More than 20 children were reported missing from a summer camp near Hunt, Texas. Estimated damages reached $1.1 billion, making this one of the deadliest flash flood events in modern Texas history. Later in the year, the Atlantic hurricane season produced one of its most powerful storms ever. Hurricane Melissa became a Category 5 hurricane and tied as the third most intense Atlantic hurricane on record. Melissa made landfall in Jamaica, becoming the strongest hurricane ever recorded to hit the island, surpassing Hurricane Gilbert from 1988. The storm produced the highest wind gust ever recorded by Dropzone data, with a staggering 252 miles per hour measured above the surface. The impacts were catastrophic. 102 fatalities. 141 injuries. 27 people missing. And $10 billion in damages across the Caribbean. Scientists later concluded that warmer ocean temperatures, driven by human-caused climate change, likely intensified Melissa's extreme winds and rainfall. To close out the year, winter arrived early, and aggressively, in Chicago. By December 7, 2025, Chicago had already received 17.1 inches of snow. That made it the fastest start to winter since 1978, when the city recorded 24.1 inches by the same date. While 2025 didn't surpass the legendary winter of 1978, it became the 4th snowiest start to winter on record, nearly matching the entire snowfall total of the previous winter in just a few weeks. From wildfires and blizzards to floods, hurricanes, and record-breaking snow, 2025 was a year defined by extremes. These events remind us that weather is becoming more unpredictable and more dangerous. The question now isn't whether extreme weather will happen again, but how prepared we are when it does.